Welcome back to Weekend Smile, guys. So they say it takes a brave person to relocate their entire life to a next country. My next guest moved from Israel to Jamaica. Welcome to the show, Neta Galeen-Malcolm. Good morning, Neta. Hi, Neta.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me.
No, thanks for being here. I mean, this should be very interesting. Let's start from the top, right? So, what part of Israel are you from?
So I'm from the north of Israel, and it's called Haifa, the general area or the city, and kind of like a small community next to it.
Okay. All right, Neta. Tell us about the first time you visited Jamaica, because it must be something that kind of sparked your interest for you to move here.
Well, I have a very long story when it comes to my relationship with Jamaica and this beautiful island. I came here for the first time in 2015, and it was a visit that was planned to be for a month, but I ended up staying for 3 months.
Wow.
Yes, so I came here because of my huge interest of the music and the culture, and I just decided to stay a bit more because I was so interested.
Yeah, well, you touched on the music and the culture, and I realized as well that you love Aki and Kalaloo. And I want us to list out everything you mentioned here, right? So you say you love Aki, you love Kalaloo, you love boiled food. You also love Blue Mountain coffee, jerk chicken. You said basically any of the local dishes that are vegan. So were all those contributing factors to coming to Jamaica to live, deciding to stay here? Because, I mean, Israel, you have what? Over 9 million people. Jamaica has over 2 million. It's a smaller space. Why did you decide to stay?
So Israel is still considered a small country, by the way. But yeah, it's definitely a different decision than I would say many of the young persons that I know in my age. I have several reasons. So yes, I was interested in the music and the culture, but then I got to know who is my husband at the moment.
Oh.
So that's one of the main reasons, obviously, I chose to stay here. It gave me a lot of more confidence to live here as well. And my dream was to live in Jamaica. So I knew it's going to happen in some point, but I didn't know exactly how, and so it just happened.
It just happened. It not only happened, you found a whole husband.
You found love on an island. Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
No.
You know, Jamaica is the island of love, so you have to find love in Jamaica.
Wow.
Love that.
All right.
Love that.
Well, that's interesting, Neta. So I know that since you've been living here, you must be seeing some similarities and differences between Israel and Jamaica. You want to share a few with us?
Sure. Well, I actually have thinking about that since I got the call from you. I was saying there is a lot of similar things between Jamaicans to Israelis. There is also a few differences, but I would say overall, Jamaicans and Israelis are very resilient people. You probably know a bit of the history of the Jewish people and what we have been through, and obviously the very sad history of Jamaica. So I believe that both nations are very strong. They develop very confident persons that are able to be, entrepreneurs, influential people, creative people. When it comes to, the culture of being a bit like, getting a bit angry quickly, you would call it hot-headed. Israelis are the same thing. We get, upset very quickly, but calm very quickly as well. Israelis and Jamaicans are very joyful people. They, we all love to celebrate life. And I believe it's from a perspective of, okay, there is somebody is coming after us, so we have to live life at the moment. In Israel and in Jamaica, faith and believing in God is a very big thing. When it comes to simple stuff as like having, military and police forces on a regular, day, or it's something that I believe the Jamaican and Israelis unfortunately are used to as well. Okay. And of course, the hot weather, which Israel does have a lot of, a few good months of summertime. And when it comes to the differences, I would say, I don't know why, but I initially thought about the differences of how females feel confident to, express themselves and feel maybe a bit, sexy, confident, and overall just discussing about sexuality. In Israel, it's a big taboo. Overall, in Western countries, it's a big taboo. And you don't really get the opportunity to be a woman and feel sexy and feel good about it. And, so here it's very different. I believe that Jamaicans are way more patient than Israelis. Israelis are like, yes.
Wow. I think that's a surprise for both of us because we're saying, but Jamaicans, I don't think Jamaicans are that patient.
No, trust me. In Israel, it's also not that formal. Like if you go to a job interview, you can come with a pair of jeans, a shirt like what I'm wearing, stuff like that.
Wow.
So overall, it's a bit loose, I would say. There is not too much of like the English colonialized discipline how it is here in Jamaica.
Okay.
You know, when you say good morning and all of this. So yeah, so these are, you know, kind of like the main differences. And of course, in Israel, there is way more regulation and less freedom. So I guess that's one of the main reasons why people, you know, choose to live here.
Yeah, those are pretty interesting. I gave it some thought for sure, Neta. I mean, I love that. Have you visited any other parish? I'm assuming you're located right now in Kingston. I'm not sure where you are. But have you visited any other parts? No, you're not. So where in Jamaica have you been, you know, exploring?
So I've been exploring several, you know, parishes. I guess I can count on my hands where I haven't been. Maybe a few parishes I haven't been in. I live in Falmouth. I used to live in Kingston in the beginning, but I moved because of job and whatever. Yes, it's pretty boring over here. So I live in Falmouth, but I've visited in a lot of places. Saintey, Portland. I love Portland, obviously. Kingston. Of course, St. James, almost any parish in Jamaica. Maybe like I didn't really get to explore Mandeville and these type of parishes.
Do you have a favorite spot?
Yeah, I love Portland. And I mean, everywhere in Portland is beautiful, but my best friend has a business over there. It's called The Living Daylight. It's in Port Antonio, a little bit above the city. Beautiful jungle park.
Okay. Yeah. All right, Neta.
Totally agree.
I know that. I mean, probably one of your favorite parts about living in Jamaica is your husband. But do you have any other favorite parts or anything else that we'd say, you know, that you just love about living in Jamaica? What's your favorite thing?
It's quite funny. First of all, of course, yes, my husband is the main reason, but it's quite funny to think about it, and maybe you are so adjusted to it and you don't even realize. But the fact that the music is so there is so much there in everywhere you go. Like everywhere you go in Jamaica, there is music.
Yeah.
And when I used to serve in the military in Israel, I used to do, you know, we guard on camps and so forth. And I always used to think how cool it is if they would play music, whatever music, in the speakers, because all over Israel you have like speakers and so forth. So yeah, in Jamaica, it's just a natural thing to have music everywhere as a part of life, which is a very nice thing to music lovers.
Just a natural thing.
Love that.
Yeah.
Neta, thank you so much for sharing. And, you know, I hope you enjoy Jamaica some more while you're here. Visit all the other parishes you haven't visited yet. But I'm sure that you and your hubby will go exploring, right?
Yes. And I do want to add, I might be here with a smile today because it's Smile Jamaica, but I have to say that Israel right now is going through a terrible terror attack in the past month. We actually had a terror attack yesterday with two young persons that were killed in Tel Aviv. So I have to say my condolences to the families. And of course, I know we will win and overcome this, but obviously it's a very sad part of our life. So I'm just sending. But thank you so much. And everyone are welcome to follow my YouTube channel as well and my Instagram.
Yeah.
All right. Neta,
thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Neta Galeen-Malcolm.